Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It is the most earth-breaking, ground-shaking, but never media show I'm taking the man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying villain in all of YouTube entertainment today, General Zod. And today, I have for you folks a Halloween review. I've been busy with writing my book and things like that, but I thought today I would compile all of the movies that I've seen recently that were horror or horror adjacent, and I put a show on here. Welcome to Derry. So I'm going to be doing a couple of different movies here. I'm going to do Black Phone 2. I'm going to talk about Shelby Oaks, uh, Good Boy, and a few other different movies. So let's go. Let's start this afternoon with a bang, and let's talk about uh, these different movies here. So uh, let me start off with my headline, the leading one, because I didn't want to rant through this review. Most of these movies I'll be talking about, I did enjoy, but there was one that I was looking forward to that really disappointed me. Then I'll get to that one next. But let's talk about my first movie up is going to be The Black Phone 2. The Black Phone 2 is made by Scott Derrickson, who was the creator of Sinister and Black Phone 1. Now, for reference, I really enjoyed Black Phone 1. I think it does have some things in it that were okay, and then some aspects that were good. Black Phone 2 is very interesting. It takes some big swings. It does some interesting things. Some of them landed for me, some of them didn't. So, Black Phone 2 once again brings back its original cast. So, we have Mason Thames, Madeleine McGraw, Jeremy Davies, and of course, Ethan Hawke returning as the grabber. And then, a bunch of other little side characters here and there. So I'm going to do my negatives first because I thoroughly enjoyed this and I just want to get the complaints out of the way. So, my first big thing with this movie was I was not particularly sure if I liked the direction this goes into. Minor spoilers for this movie. I won't get into major stuff, but in order to critique this movie, I got to tell you guys exactly my specific problems with this movie. So, Black Phone 2, they take a different approach, which I think is the only logical place you could go with this movie. The grabber becomes kind of Freddy Krueger in the sense that after the events of Black Phone 1, the grabber has not actually moved on, as we should suspect, because the first movie were about dead kids who, when he answered the phone, they gave Finney information to beating the grabber, and wacky shenanigans ensued. Black Phone 2 is about the grabber and a mystery. Apparently, there are his first victims, and because they are alive, he is able to, much like the ghost, come back. Now, I like and I like this Freddy Krueger angle. I like the 8mm shots that he does, much like Sinister with grainy film. And it was a good way for us to let the audience know when flashbacks occurred versus what was going on in the real world when they were in the dream sequences. There's a lot of great shots. My issue is that for an R-rated movie, a lot of people don't die. That's not to say this isn't brutal. I don't know if this is the year to fuck up kids, but they have a fucking bunch of gory scenes with children dying in very, very bad ways. But as far as the characters go, and I really don't want to get into spoiling, but there's not much death. I'm not going to tell you who dies, if anyone dies, or anything like that. I'll just say it's not very rated R. I think, honestly, if you took out some of the language, this movie could pass for like PG-13. And that's not to say every horror movie has to be rated R, but when you promote a movie with a guy who's essentially I can't say it on YouTube, but you get the idea of what he is into with kids. And the fact that he brutally strangles them or murders them or sets them on fire, all their crazy shit. I feel like this is the kind of movie where you should really lean into that R rating. And for the information that we get on the grabber and the horrendous shit that he does in this movie, it doesn't feel like the movie really has the guts to go all the way as far as putting characters in mortal danger. And the issue with that is if I don't believe my main characters are in danger, it takes away from the movie. What made Black Phone so good as a movie, and I've heard that if you like the style they went into, you'll like this. And I do, but my issue is in the first movie, I felt danger for Finney. And Finney, played by the great Mason uh, Thames, who has a really great range of acting. There's an angle here I think that would have been better with the movie, where this is a couple of years after the original movie, and I think diving into what it would be like to be a survivor of somebody who kidnaps you is a far more interesting plot than what we got in this movie. I think the emotional family stuff that this movie tackles, the effects of when you go through something traumatic and leaning into doing drugs and trying to escape and just denying what happened to you, those all hit on a personal level. But something in this movie for me doesn't quite come together like the original Black Phone did. Um, I do think that also Gwen, she has an extended role. I like the actress who plays her. I like how she plays her in this movie, but she felt very much pushed in place of Finney, who had the far more interesting story. I'm much interested in the trauma that you have going through the situation he went through. Ethan Hawke, once again, I heard some crazy rumors were like, oh, they tried to make him like Freddy, whatever else. Ethan Hawke has always been a favorite actor of mine. I think in this movie, he is one of the things that holds this movie up for me. He is so good in this role. He's terrifying. He's charismatic. You know that the grabber is a fucking terrible human being, but Ethan Hawke is kind of like what to me, Robert Englund is to Freddy Krueger. Ethan Hawke has this charisma, this mystique that really carries this movie. His presence and where he goes from being this guy who you could see talking to versus this like crazy serial killer guy to this really clearly broken person who's fucked up in the head. He switches between all these things very seamlessly. And in this movie, it's even more effortlessly with the tone and the way he got it down. I just think as a villain, he's pretty cool and he's unique. I liked him in the first one because he wasn't supernatural, which is my other issue with this. But still, I think he's got a lot of charisma to hold this movie up. So this is going to be a quicker review for this movie because, quite honestly, this movie is very much the sum of its parts kind of movie. Each individual aspect of this movie is well enough, but together the pieces don't fit as well as I would like for a movie I so thoroughly enjoyed. And I don't even know if I find this one more rewatchable than the first movie. The first movie to me was kind of slow to get to going, and then the ending is really good. Where this is really engaging in the beginning, but the ending kind of goes really fucking nuts for me. Uh, it's really hard for me to rate this, but I think I'm going to give this movie. I gave the first one an 8 or a 9. I think it was more on the end of an 8. I'm gonna give this movie a 7.5. I could see myself landing on 8 with a couple of rewatches, or maybe giving this some time to marinate more. But for me, I really feel like this movie is filled with great ideas and great shots very decent performances. Some were wonky because of the setting and the words, but the language that they use. But for the most part, it's pretty decent. Um, I don't find it too offensive, not like the next film I'll talk about, but for the most part, this is a pretty decent movie. I think it's worth a watch. I don't know if it's still. I think yeah, it's still in the theaters. I definitely check it out in the theaters. It's a good time. So let's go to my next film. Now, this review is going to take me a little bit longer because I got a bit of history with this. Uh, Not with the person personally, but my feelings towards this individual. There's been reviews out for a new movie, Shelby Oaks, which I just recently got a chance to watch. And So before I get started, as with most people who do what I do, which is reviewing movies, games, and shows and things like that, we all have our personal heroes we follow online here, right? The people who inspire you to do what you do, or people you watch and go, I wish I could have bits like that. I wish I could make my production like that. For me, in this YouTube space, there's been a couple of people here that I've watched very faithfully over the years that have inspired me or showed a friend or something like that. And one of the people who that is Chris Stuckmann. And a couple of like a few months ago, he had come out with a video that had split the internet and split the reviewing community. And I'm of two minds. And I got to bring all this up before I review this movie because it's causing a real disbalance in reviews. And look, as someone that has been reviewing movies for a while now, I'm not going to bullshit and say something is good when it's not. And I'm not going to say it's not good when it is. I give you guys what I feel about a movie or a particular subject. And you can fucking take it or leave it. I present information, my feelings on it, and whatever everybody else feels, I love to hear feedback. Uh, but I won't criticize someone for their opinions. Now, the video that this person made was talking about how they weren't going to do reviews on movies that they didn't like anymore because they felt like they didn't want to pile on the director or whatever, and the actors and the people who worked so hard to make a movie. It just wasn't their thing anymore. They wanted to talk about what they liked. And a part of me understands this perspective. I hate shitting on a movie. It could be fun, but it is draining to watch shit I don't like to review it for my audience. Sometimes I go into things thinking I'll like them and they turn out to be shit. But sometimes I watch stuff hoping to be that one voice that won't be shitting on something. I do it for my audience because they would want to see my reaction to it. And so I get that you want to review stuff you can give meaningful critique. On the other end of that, I think it's a bullshit cop out because we should be here reviewing things and giving honest opinions. The reason why people watch people like me or Chris or Jeremy is because we are giving our personal feelings and we are telling you facts about a movie. And I think what people are turning to the internet more for is the fact that honest, critical, hey, what's up, Carmen? Critical reviewers have not been giving us honest opinions. So Chris Stuckmann uh, is now making a movie or has made a movie called Shelby Oaks. And when he made this video, I think it was a strategic move to kind of shield him from criticism. That's just my personal opinion. Um, or maybe he just felt he really wanted to review stuff he liked, finally being on this space and seeing how movies run. And he was like, yeah, I don't want to shit on people because they take so much effort in doing these movies. And thank you. I'm going to be trying to do more live streams. Today, I will read you guys some of my book I've been working on. But anyways, um, so he made this movie Shelby Oaks, and I wanted to be objective. Now, I contributed a bit to the Kickstarter for this movie, and so I had a lot of faith in a person that I had followed for years. And none of this should ever enter into somebody's review. And I think a lot of people who really back this project or people who are combating some of these reviews is more of a sense of an obligation for a creator to like. And look, here's the thing: if people who say back me for my book, but they don't like it, I'm fine with that, because at the end of the day, I feel like when you critique people or when you're the subject of criticism, good or bad, asshole opinion or not, it all goes to personal growth. And I've been wanting to do for a while a discussion on this movie because it's quite fascinating. I think it's cool that YouTubers are now being able to be taken serious in a different space. We do entertainment, and doing movies is just the next natural progression. But at the same time, I think that especially people like us who do reviews should be able to handle critiques from other people. And I think Chris is a big boy and he can handle critiques. And I say all this because this review process has been super weird on how people feel about this movie. And I even feel like people I respect give this movie leeway because of personal history. So I'm just going to be blunt and honest and try to be respectful about it as possible, because I feel like the best way to benefit a movie or a project is to give your honest opinion about that movie and project. If you are not being honest in your critique about someone you like, even if you respect them here on a platform, then you're doing them a disservice because they can't grow as a creator to make their content better. And it's no different if they make a fucking movie versus if they make a video that people don't like. Feedback is important. And I wanted to get this out of the way before I started this review on this movie, because just because I like and respect what Chris Stuckmann has done as a YouTuber does not in any way color my opinion of what I'm about to say in this movie. And it doesn't sway it one way or the other. I will always critique something, whether someone fucking gives me a free pass to see it or whether I get a screening or whatever. I'm still going to be honest about how I feel about a movie, regardless. If I think it's a pile of shit, I'm going to come on here and say it. If I think it's good and other people think it's shit, I don't care. It's my opinion. But at the end of the day, it's up to people to judge how they feel about something. So, with that being said, Shelby Oak is directed by Chris Stuckmann, who has been a movie reviewer in the very early days of YouTube. He is there along people I like, such as Jeremy Johns and a bunch of other people. And Shelby Oaks was originally a project he worked on that was initially done in like 2024, around that time. 2022. It went through COVID reshoots and things like that. And the project got picked up and first screened on July 20th, 2024, but it's now just getting a release in 2025. So now the general public is able to see the movie. And so I'm going to count it for this year in 2025, even though it has a history that kind of goes back 2 to 3 years. I only count the year it's released. So Shelby Oaks is a story about a lady who's looking for her sister. It is an online found footage, but also it does actual movie shooting. I'll get into that in a little bit, but basically it is based on this group called the Paranormal Paranoids, who go to haunted houses and shit like normal YouTube stuff, and they investigate spooky, scary things. And they go to the town of Shelby Oaks, where they all mysteriously disappear, except for one of the people, their sister, uh, goes on a quest looking for her missing sister. So her name is Sullivan, I believe. And, or no, hold on. Her name is, okay, the sister's name is Riley. And then the other sister who goes looking for her is Mia. So Riley goes missing. Mia takes up the mantle to try to figure out what happened to her sister and visited the town of Shelby Oaks where mysterious, weird shit is happening. Now, this movie has had an interesting review because there's people who have either liked the first 25 minutes and then kind of didn't like where it went, or they like the back half but kind of aren't found footage fans. And look, Chris Stuckmann, this goes back to his influences and things that he has said throughout the years if you watch his channel, and you can see it in the way that he made this movie. There's the found footage aspects to me were the best part of the movie. Now, me personally, I love found footage. I always have. I loved Blair Witch, even though now it lost its mysticism. But when it came out, you guys got to understand, that was like one of the biggest things. People thought that shit was real. It was one of the greatest marketing I've ever seen done to this day. Maybe Longlegs in number 2, but Blair Witch, I can't even describe to you unless you lived in the era how fucking big that movie was, just because of this thing that they built around the movie. And in many ways, Shelby Oaks has that feel of what it was like to YouTube in the 2000s, and it's got a cool aesthetic in the beginning. Where this movie falls apart for me is is clearly talented behind the camera, but the story and the concepts, while the concepts aren't bad on their own, the way that they're brought together is very messy and makes no fucking sense. And it's really disheartening because in this movie, there is some not very unique ideas, but interesting in the way that he's trying to present them. The problem is that characters do the things they do in horror movies that I dislike. Uh, People make really fucking stupid decisions in this movie, particularly the main character. And the sad part about that is Camille Sullivan, I've never heard of her before this movie. Apparently, she is actually a pretty good actress as far as the independent space. I watch a lot of different indie films, but I'm sorry I can't fucking get to them all because my back catalog is massive. But she puts in a great effort. The issue is, and the issue with a lot of this movie is the writing. Don't know specifically if Chris' script and it's all written by him. It does have Samantha Elizabeth and Chris Stuckmann. The story was but it was written by Chris Stuckmann. So I feel like he has the ideas, but the issue is the script needed somebody to better connect the ideas. And being a writer, the hardest thing is to get your characters into the positions that you want them to be in towards where you need them to be in the finale of anything, a movie, a show, whatever. And the movie is very much trying to make MacGuffins, or sort of, it doesn't let the characters come to these natural decisions, okay? There's a scene where this chick finds this book she's looking for, and it just fucking appears with like no lead in, no nothing. She's like, oh, and very weird lines too. Like the husband calls her crazy because she's pursuing this thing, which, first of all, the husband came off as kind of an asshole when I think he was supposed to be more sympathetic, or we're supposed to understand what he's going through, and then he just fucking disappears for the rest of the movie. But there's a scene with this book that she needs to find, and I swear to God, maybe I wasn't paying attention, but this fucking book just appears when she needs it to appear. No lead in, no, we gotta search the library. None of the usual things that would give the character agency to come across these own clues. It's kind of just like shit happens. And it's very obvious, and it breaks the flow with the movie. The other thing, too, and I want to mention other YouTubers. There's Rucka Rucka who did Talk to Me and Bring Her Back. Now, I know these are two vastly different types of people making a film, but Talk to Me was their first effort. And in it, there's not contrivances or conveniences, and there's tension that they build. And Chris can do the same thing with shots. The issue is a lot of the tension in this movie is undercut by a loud noise or a jump scare. And the thing that mystifies me about most of the complaints I have is shit that I could hear him complaining about back in the day. And I think this is the real big thing about a film critic going to make a movie, is that a lot of people are going to expect you to avoid these traps, seeing as to you fucking critique movies. Um, Having random jump scares, destroying your own tension, these are things that we see. And look, I know it's easy for me to sit back here as a guy who critiques and goes, oh man, he just undercut his tension because I'm watching it. When you're on the other side, you're more likely to fall into that trap, I suppose. But that's just it. And I feel like this script needed a few more passes to be a really solid story. The other thing too is they show what this entity is. I am of two minds. It's cool that I'm seeing what it is, but then it destroys what your mind can build up, especially with movies with found footage or things like that. The best movies work where we don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm gonna do a review for a movie that I saw that was really good. It's on Shudder. You should check it out. It's called Strange Harvest. This movie is a mockumentary, much like what Shelby Oaks is doing, but it's so much better because it's from the police and the investigation perspective on this serial killer called the Harvest Killer, and it has this supernatural feel to it. And the movie builds tension through the investigation and what they are finding through clues, making the people we're following feel smart, capable in their job. This fucking girl, this woman, she does the dumbest fucking shit I've ever seen. There's literally a scene in this movie where someone punches their ticket and she stays with blood on her face for like 10 minutes. And I was like, I know it's a small thing, but when I'm starting to nitpick and find things in a movie, I can't stop myself. And it's just like, why is she traveling with this blood on her face? This dude nearly just like punched his ticket a couple of minutes ago, and there's brains on her face, and she does not wash it off. And I don't know why it bothered me, but it's details like this that people will look for in your movie when you've already lost them. And plus, the acting for the found footage portions of this movie, I'm sorry, it's fucking atrocious. And I get it's supposed to have that old 2000s YouTuber feel, like, you know, people were putting on a show or just plain fucking acting ridiculous. But it feels like bad acting. It doesn't feel like someone putting on a persona and pretending to act bad. It just feels like shitty acting. Um, and the resolution, the, the resolution of this movie, holy shit! Like, I figured out what was going on, and I was hoping they were going with a gotcha moment, which I like said in my head, oh, you know, this person knows about these traps, right? They're not just treating the audience stupid and leading us right to the answer that's pretty fucking obvious what's going on. Like, I didn't know what it was, but I had a feeling of the whole gist of the movie before like about 45 minutes in. And yep, it was exactly what I fucking thought it was. There was no mystery, there was no surprise. There's no like, I gotcha. If you watched the movie, you could see where we were tricking you. It's a movie where you sit down and you watch it and you know what you're getting and there's no surprise. And in this modern horror landscape, I'm sorry, this movie is not good. Um, I wanted really hard to like this movie. I respect Chris Stuckmann even after his video. I respect him as a content creator and really in his personal life and the shit that he's gone through to get to where he's at. I respect all that. But you're being judged on a movie. You're being judged on what you created and put out into the world, for better or for worse. And I respect the hell out of the fact that you can do it, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to like what you put out just because I've got that kind of connection. And I think the problem with reviewing is too many people place their feelings of the individual over a fair critique. And honestly, this is fucking atrocious. The shots in it are good, and the actress who's in it, who's playing our lead character, Camille Sullivan, is phenomenal. And even Keith David is in this, and Keith David, for the short little brief role he has in it, is tremendous. But two good performances don't save a really terrible story with an even worse script as far as the dialogue, the setup, the connective tissue between the scenes. This is just not very good. In fact, there's some parts in the middle that are flat out boring. Until the last half, and it's a shame. I wish I could say this movie was a slam dunk, that Chris did it. I fucking loved it. We got another YouTuber. I think this is exactly what I expected from Talk to Me when I went to see it, and I was pleasantly surprised. I do think that Chris has talent behind the camera, and I do think he has very interesting ideas. I don't think he has the chops to write them in a structured, coherent format. And, that's not for everybody. Uh, People got their strengths and weaknesses. I think if you put him on a film and he pitched an idea and got somebody else to write it, you would have a hell of a movie. But this ain't it. Uh, I found it boring, tedious. I thought the ending was absolutely fucking stupid. And I feel really bad saying it. And I'm not even doing a pissed off rant. It's not even that. I'm just genuinely disappointed. Like, that dad whose kid didn't win the big game. They tried hard. Maybe you get them some ice cream to make them feel better. But this movie is not good. I'm going to give Shelby Oaks a 4 out of 10. I gave it a 4 simply because the acting was decent and the shots were good. But I'm sorry, acting and good cinematography doesn't make a movie. There's 150 different movies coming out, tons of independent artists that are fighting for a voice to be heard in the space. Lots of people making really good shit. And if you make it, then I think it's only fair that you get the most honest critiques, because you're already there. You can do another project and you can learn from the mistakes of your first one and make a better one. And I think Chris has the potential to make a great movie that will be compelling and really put his skills to the test. But unfortunately, this movie for me just didn't do it. And it's a shame. I think that the first 25 minutes of this movie is interesting. I think the back half of the movie completely destroys it. So that's just my honest opinion. And this is the one critique on this that really breaks my heart, because I wanted so badly to come on here and tell you it was a great movie. But unfortunately, it just wasn't. So that was Shelby Oaks. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Let's go to the next movie on this list. So, Good Boy. You a dog lover? Like man's best friend? Do you trust man's best friend with your life? Well, do I got the movie for you? I saw this with my fiance, and she enjoyed this movie as well. Good Boy is one of those movies where you're going to go home to your cat, dog, bird, I don't give a shit, your pet, and you're going to look at them and love the shit out of them. This movie is so unique. And I just got done talking about Shelby Oaks and how I felt it didn't have anything unique. This is what I'm talking about with Good Boy. This movie is shot from the dog's perspective. They did this movie like 6 years, and they only got shots when they can get these reactions out of this dog. This dog emotes more than half of the fucking actors and actresses in Hollywood. Honestly, if you could put an animal up for an award, and I'm not bullshitting you when I say this, Indy the dog should be fucking nominated. This dog puts in the work for this movie. So Good Boy is a great haunted house supernatural horror film. It is directed and co-written by Leon Berg and Alex Cannon. It stars Shane Jensen, Aria Feldman, and Larry Festin. And this is with Leonberg's real life dog Indy as the protagonist. And it's about this owner named Todd. He has an unspecified disease. And so he gets super sick. He goes back to the house where his father had passed. Now, I don't know if this disease is genetic or what's going on as far as that goes, but it's implied that his father also, too, was sick. And they go back to his family home, and weird stuff starts happening. This thing starts haunting or coming for Indy's owner Todd, and the only one who could see this, the only one who could react to it, is Indy the dog. This movie is so fucking brilliant. The shots in this, first of all, from being shot floor level or from a perspective from a dog, are absolutely just mind-boggling. Now, it is in like one or two locations. Obviously, this is an independent film, but just the way they use the space to make this thing and they play with certain images and things that you see on screen is very masterfully done. Now, of course, I have to talk about the main star of this, Indy the dog. I don't know. This is some serious movie magic, but watch the stuff at the end of this movie. They show you a little bit of how they shot this film. The expressions and things they show you the dog doing, he's doing them, but not in the context of the scene. So what I mean is, he might be giving a regular look like, hey, what's this? And they'll shoot it and frame it in a way where the dog looks concerned. It's like they're taking what the dog is doing and they're using the visuals around to make you believe the dog is feeling a different way, like he's scared or he's, you know, barking at something. The tricks they use by simply using film and space to their advantage it blows my mind. And I've rewatched this movie again, and it's so brilliant how they're setting you up with this concept and what this is going to be. Now, I want to do some spoilers for this because in order for me to tell you why I love this movie so much, I am going to have to spoil what the movie is actually about to tell you how brilliant this movie is and what this is all actually about, because this is the kind of movie that got me in the feels. I had the one tear I was trying to hold back when you get to what's actually going on. And it's so brilliant because it works on both ways. But if you haven't seen the movie, this movie's a 9 out of 10 for me. Go check it out. I loved it. But for right now, I'm going to go into a major spoiler in order to explain to you why I really love this movie. So, major spoiler coming. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so this movie is about that the entity, the thing that is coming after Todd the whole time is Todd's sickness, and the dog is seeing that. And the owner, the owner had a dog, and the dog died with him. So the movie is about how uh, death essentially is coming for his master, and the dog is seeing that, and he's trying to keep it back. The end of this movie has a scene with death literally claiming the soul of his owner, Todd, and Indy following Todd to try to get his essence, whatever you want to call it, back. And the first time this happened, I suppose, the previous owner's dog died. And this owner had to accept the fact that he was facing death and send his best friend, his good boy, the dog that's been with him, man, back, because in order to join him, the dog would have to die too. There's so many fucking levels to this movie of how emotional that is. And if you own a pet, like, knowing that feeling, that it adds a layer that, like, yeah, pets will literally go through anything for the owners that they love. And this movie is like such a, like, your pet and you kind of story. And it's sad, but at the same time, it kind of left me with a feeling of feeling good at the same time, which is really weird. It's kind of a happy, sad ending because it's sad because, of course, Todd's dead. He dies, and Todd sees his body, which is a fucking mind trip because they play it to where you don't know how sick he actually is towards the end of this film. And he literally looks at his own body, and this entity grabs him and fucking whooshes him, and the dog follows. And Todd is dead. He can't get back in. He's done so. But the dog doesn't want to give up on his owner. The dog wants to get his owner back and be with his owner. And it just fucking hit me so hard, man. Like, I was like, that is like, don't get me wrong, this is a new concept being done. Ghost did it with Patrick Swayze, and there's been several other movies that have taken this angle, like, oh, he was dead the whole time. But I think it's the way they capture the emotions from the dog's perspective. That's what makes this whole movie very unique and different. Conversations that are being had, you hear what's being said, but you don't see the faces because the dog's looking down, or it can't see in the middle of the night or something like that, like an animal, right? We're only getting information based on what the dog is hearing. But just think about it, none of this really matters to the dog. And it's a clever way to tell the audience information we need to know that the dog would hear. But the dog doesn't give a shit about that. It just knows its master is sick and it wants to help its master. And that's the thing that fucking got me about this movie. This movie is amazing. It was a surprise to me. And quite honestly, it's super close on my number one horror movies for this year because it's such a unique, creative thing that I honestly haven't seen done in years in a movie. Like, I have had very few movie experiences when I came out of a movie just thinking about it and being completely taken for a loop. I had no clue where this movie was going to go throughout the whole thing. And when I thought I knew the direction it was going in, or I thought they were going to go with the generic haunted house, it's going to be up to the dog somehow to be a like supernatural entity. But no, it was about life and death. It was about we all die, but not what does it do to us? What does it do to our pets and the animals that love and care for us? Like, what would that be like for your pet if you passed away? And kind of what would they do to try to bring you back? Would they, it's really intriguing because you're not coming from these big questions from humans, because we could all say we would feel sad, or there's been tons of movies that do the emotional grief that everybody else around them feels, but it treats the animal like you would treat a pet. A pet is like a member of your family. You feel that loss. When Boo passed away, I was fucking devastated. And I think this movie hit me because I still had that on my mind when I think about these pet movies. And it makes you like want to go and hug your animal and really appreciate them, because at the end of the day, they are a part of the family. They're a part of you, and you feel that loss as if it was a family member. And if you own a pet or you love animals, definitely go check out this movie, because it is such a great perspective and shows what probably how your animals are thinking. I loved it. It's one of my most hyped movies that I wanted to talk about, but I wanted to give it some time so people had a chance to see it, because it's really the end of this movie that makes this movie so impactful. I will say the beginning is kind of slow to start, but it hooks you right in with like showing the dog from a little puppy to when it's a big, good, cute dog, and like kind of getting this idea, and you seeing the owner sick when the dog gets older, and this kind of lead up and just building, like, you have this sick feeling that something is going to go wrong in this movie. And that's what I was talking about when I was saying I was disappointed with Shelby Oaks, is that this movie, unlike that movie, built this tension and this feeling of dread that you knew something bad was coming, but you didn't quite know what it was. And that's the mark of a good movie, at least for me. Um, and I like being surprised and entertained. And this was a pleasant surprise. So let's move on to my last big review for my massive horror movie reviews, because I haven't reviewed stuff for you guys in a long time. Let's talk about probably what's going to be one of my new favorite shows, up there with The Penguin. I called it last year. Was it 2 years ago? Fuck. When Penguin came out, I said, folks, this is going to be my favorite show. And I'm proud to report if you guys have been on this channel, you know one of my favorite authors of all time, Under Oath, stack of Bibles. I love a lot of things, but there's certain people I can say I definitively love them. Like, they are my favorite. One of my favorite writers of all time is Stephen King. Stephen King inspired me to want to write. He actually literally inspired me to read. When I was a kid, I did not like reading. I thought it was boring. I've always been a visual media, which is kind of ironic because I'm writing a book, but I've always been into the visual media, and having shit attract me. But Stephen King made me realize that your mind can create different scenarios and things and really open your horizons to these different stories and things that you could tell. And so Stephen King has always been one of my favorite, if not the favorite author of all time. I like J.K. Rowling. She'd be in second. Like, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, but Stephen King is above any of that. I like Dean Koontz. I like a bunch of J.R. Tolkien, George Martin. I like these writers, but for me, Stephen King is one of the greatest horror writers, full stop. I know there's been H.P. Lovecraft and all that, but King has a certain style and a certain way that he words things for me, and the way he describes things that really put you into the settings and makes you feel the horror he's trying to convey in his books. And all of this to say that It has finally returned. If you guys don't know the history of It, there's been two iterations. There's It 1990 actually, movie, and then there is It Part 1 and Part 2, which was 2003, 2008, somewhere around there. And these movies were highly received. Part 2, not so much. I still think it's good, but a lot of people don't like it. It follows the book, and unfortunately with It, it's not my favorite endings for a King novel. I think it's fucking stupid, and the movie went too close to the novel, and so the end for me was fucking dumb. But the director and writer really respected and understood the source material, and that director is Andy Muschietti. He had done uh, one of the best adaptations we had seen for this, and so he and Barbara Muschietti developed this for HBO Max, with the showrunners being Jason Isaac Fuchs and Brad Caleb Kane. Now, Jason Fuchs is a screenwriter best known for Ice Age, Continental Drift, Pan, and Argyle. Now, none of those are good, but he's a showrunner. I think Pan is good. Argyle was garbage, and Ice Age Continental Drift was not the best Ice Ages. But he's a showrunner. He's got some some chops when it comes to doing these things. And so, what is the show about? Well, It Chapter 2, Welcome to Derry, is about the town of Derry, where the titular evil clown we all know and love, Pennywise, landed. Now, spoilers for fucking It. If you haven't seen it, this movie's been out for years. So uh, Pennywise is an alien. He's like this spider thing that feeds off of fear, and he creates fear. He particularly likes kids because they are the ones that are afraid the most of things. And so he shows fucked up images and illusions to these children, and when they have enough fear, he literally consumes them. And their souls, or whatever you want to call it, are trapped in his kind of lair, and they suffer. And he also uses these other deaths to lure more into his lair. Now, Welcome to Derry is about two different kind of paralleling stories. One is about a new losers club, and if you guys haven't seen the original, the losers clubs were these kids that originally stopped Pennywise back in the day before they grow up and they have to go back and stop them again in part two. But these kids kind of form a group because they all start seeing fucked up shit to try to stop Pennywise or figure out what he is and stop him. And so this is essentially uh, years before the first it. It's taking place in the 60s. So in 1962, it begins with a disappearance of a young boy, and uh, his friends take up the charge to figure out what is going to happen. So I want to start out with the characters, and keep in mind this is only the first episode I'm reviewing. So I don't have much to go on. This show could go to shit. I thoroughly enjoyed Alien Earth. If you notice, I didn't review much of it. The rest, oh my god, that show went downhill. So I don't have much trust in anything because shows start off good and they suck all the time. But for this one, the show starts off fucking bananas. Now, I don't want to get into too many spoilers because it came out on Sunday. I know it's been a day. I want to give people a chance to watch it. Not really ruin for you, but there's a scene in the first 15 minutes of this show where I was like, holy fucking shit. It is batshit crazy. Now, my one complaint is the CGI. There is CGI in this, a particular thing that's CGI'd. It's very rough. It's very rough looking. But the good thing about this is the acting and the situations that the characters are in make up for the really shitty CGI. It's one of those things where I was saying about several of my other reviews that sometimes the whole picture can fix little issues, right? If I have an issue with CGI, I can look past that if the story and the acting is good. That could really hold up. And the story and acting and music, just everything in this show is fucking phenomenal. So we have this crazy shit that happens in the beginning, and essentially you have two separate stories. There is a black man. This is important that you know he's black because, of course, and I'll allow a pass for this because we are dealing with the 60s. There's a racism angle in here. So there is a black major who goes and moves to the town of Derry, that little sleepy, creepy as fuck town that everybody still stays in despite children going missing every fucking couple of months. This black guy moves in. He is a major for the Air Force. He's part of a secret program. So there's some stuff, maybe nuclear espionage. This was the 60s. So, we're in that World War II time frame. So, like, maybe there's going to be something with nuclear bombs and they're going to bomb someone or something. We don't know. It's the first fucking episode. But you have him, and they really want this fire jet. And I'll get to the scene because this is my other negative. I thought this scene came out of nowhere and was a little fucking ridiculous. But then you've got the more interesting part. So there's this girl who is fucking brutally tortured by these kids. And and she's actually really good. Her name is Charlotte, and she's played by, or no, where is it? No, it's Charlotte. She's Oh man, that is crazy. They put Okay, sorry. Her name is this is why I pull up the episode here. Let me see. Mar Yeah, Marge. There we go. Marge. Really? That was her name? That is a terrible name. Anyways, so her name is Marge. Uh and I guess some accident happened with her father. So kids being shitty little fucking kids in the 60s, and this shit continued in the 90s. Because let me tell you, I dealt with some fucking assholes in my day. But her father got killed in this machine that jars pickles. So they put a bunch of fucking pickled jars in her locker, and when she opens it up, it's like spills all over it. They're fucking pricks. Anyways, she is friends with this kid who goes missing in the beginning of the show, and she has guilt about something that happens, and she wants to track down um, Matt is his name. She wants to track down Matt and find out what happened to him. And so the group of kids, as they do, become junior detectives, and they're gonna get on the clues and figure out what happened to their boy Matt. And fucking wacky shenanigans ensue. Now, I want to get to the acting on this. The person who plays Marge, kid actors are fucking a gamble. All the kid actors are great. They're fucking phenomenal. Like, the person who plays Marge, I want to give this girl a hug. She has the most fucking miserable life ever, and she plays it so well as that awkward kid who had some fucked up shit happen to her, and she's trying to, like, fit in with a bunch of these fucking cunts every day. Pardon my French, but that's what they are. They're cunts, little cunts in training. She's trying to fit in with these little prissy fucking 60 bitches who just think, your father did. By the way, who says that? You know, when you are an adult, you forget how shitty kids really are. And like I know I've done some shitty things, but I don't ever remember laughing at someone whose father was brutally fucking murdered in an accident. Anyways, kids fucking suck. But um Marge is the friend. Never mind. Lily. Lily is her name. Okay, good. Marge is the friend. I'll get to Marge in a second. That's why I was focused on her. She pissed me off. But Lily is the one looking for Matt. And Lily's a nice kid. And then we got Teddy and Phil. Teddy and Phil remind me of how me and my friends used to talk. One of them is Jewish. This is important when I bring these things up, okay? uh, it plays into what happens later. I'm not going to get into spoilers, but it's a very significant plot point. And then you have Teddy, who is the kind of abrasive uh, douchebag. I really align myself a lot with Teddy. He reminds me a lot of what I was like when I was a kid. He's got a good heart, but he's a bit of a dick. Might be a little bit, overly interested in girls because come on, man, we were all teenagers. You know what it was like. You know what it was like when you first got into junior high school, and you like girls, and you know maybe you tried to look through your window at your neighbor because you knew you had a right angle where you could see everything. Anyways, that isn't the point. Teddy's my boy. He's got the sense of humor. And so the three of them start getting these horrific visions of their friend, Matt, who keeps on crying out for help. What's up, Proper? So they go on a wacky adventure. And now the thing that I like about Welcome to Derry is that, oh yeah, I had my review earlier of Black Phone. But anyways, no, I don't give spoilers away for Black Phone. It's in the fucking trailer. It's very obvious what they were doing. Come on, you've seen Black Phone 1. I didn't spoil anything that you probably already didn't figure out. Anyways, that is the point. So for Welcome to Derry, what I thought was the kid actors were great. Um, I'm talking about Welcome to Derry. This is 4 different movies I'm reviewing because I haven't been on here in a while. Oh, you definitely should watch it. It's a good show. It's going to be up there with Penguin for me. But anyways, so Matt goes missing, and Lily, Teddy, and Phil decide they're going to figure out what's going on, which leads them to this other character uh, whose name is Ronnie. And just across the board, the acting for these characters is great. Ronnie is a great character. Also, Teddy and Phil are great. Andy Muschietti, I don't know if he's just in tune with the kids, but one thing I want to say that I appreciate about the show is the dialogue. These kids talk like I used to talk to, or probably half people who went to a normal fucking high school talk like. They talk about like, I fucked your mother, haha, I'll slap you in the face with my balls, that kind of stuff, which is real fucking talk. When you are in junior high, high school, or even now, all grown up, me on the internet, people swear and curse. And especially when you're younger, you use swear words in the stupidest ways possible. Like, you say sentences that sound good at the time and are fucking stupid. And in this show in particular, they really got the dialogue of how I picture junior high kids talking about. Another thing about this show is not afraid to kill kids. Let me tell you, I've said 2025 has been a year of fuck them kids. That is this year. Holy shit, man. This show's body count right now consists of like 4 people, and it's all fucking kids. So this show is not afraid to get a bit bloody, and that's my only other negative with this show. The gore in this show is very clearly CGI, and I hate CGI gore. The blood looks kind of like, it doesn't look like blood should look. It looks very plasticky, kind of weird looking. It's got that glossy sheen to it. I don't like it, and I didn't like it in the original It movies because everything looked so good. Pennywise looked great. But like, it was like that scene with Georgie in the first It movie where he got his arm ripped off. It looks gnarly, but it still has that fake, like the blood looks all like PS2 graphics. I don't like it. And the creature that's shown in this, which if you guys don't know, this isn't just based on Pennywise. This is based on the town of Derry. So Pennywise is not going to show up for quite a bit. Although uh Alexander Skarsgård is reprising his role as Pennywise again. He is not going to show up for a while. This is more about the town of Derry itself and the crazy shit that's going on. So why is this a cool thing? Well, what's in the town of Derry? If people don't know Stephen King, like 90% of his fucking books take place in Maine, and in particular in the town of Derry. So there is references to Shawshank Redemption. There is The Mist that's probably going to be thrown in here because that takes place in Derry. There's Cujo, there's Misery, there's a lot of Lizzie Bordez, who is the one of the persons mentioned in Stephen King's novel. A lot of these characters come from the town of Derry, so I would be really excited to see them do like a mashup of different Stephen King works while using the town of Derry to sort of do it. And I think that's what they're going for. Being that this is years before Pennywise actually meets the people that'll beat him, I think this might even be a little bit before Pennywise actually arrives in the town. Um, I would be very curious to see what they're going to do. And whatever the thing is, because like I said, I'm not giving spoilers away for the first episode. I don't think it's linked to Pennywise. So that would kind of infer that there's other shit going on in this town, and Pennywise just shows this town because there's already fucked up shit already happening there. They also bring up Indian Point, which, if you don't know, that's a very famous location in the book The Mist, where the mist was let loose from that military base. So I think the military base storyline is going in that angle, and the kids are dealing with Pennywise or whatever fucked up shit is. The point is, people need to move from this fucking town. Why are you still buying houses here, folks? This town, like, children go missing monthly. Weird shit is happening. Fucking wacko neighbors. Like, I know the housing has got to be good over there, but at some point, people have just got to stop funding this fucking town. And the thing is, this town, for like multiple years, has the same drugstore, the same grocery store, the same shitty police station and shitty police officers, a fire department, and a fucking government base. And that's the whole town of Derry. So I don't even know how this town is still going. But anyways, I digress. So that is my review of Welcome to Derry. I'm going to give the first episode a 7.5 out of 10. I don't want to commit to an 8 or a 9 because even though I loved it, I was put off by the CGI. I hope they're going to kind of fix that. But the acting, the dialogue, the story, the characters, they're all working for me. The only other part is there's something that happens with the Air Force pilot that was kind of fucking weird and out of nowhere. I'm hoping later episodes will explain why this particular thing happened, and you'll know when you see the episode. But for me, it kind of fucking came out of nowhere, and it was a little goofy. So I'm hoping they're going to give an explanation. But other than that, dude, if you don't like the show in the first 10 minutes, you're not going to like this show. Definitely watch the first 10 minutes on HBO Max. Watch the first 10 minutes before you get to the Welcome to Derry credits. And you'll know right away if you're going to like the show because it has something, and I'm not shitting you, I've never seen another horror show or movie do. It is one of the wildest scenes I've seen in a movie this year or a show. The thing that happens is so fucking bonkers, and there's a bit of a joke in it while it's happening that I said, oh yeah, this is my show right here. This is the show for Zod. It's fucked up, it's quirky, it's strange. I really like it. And most importantly, it's got a very fascinating story with very good actors. They're not trying to push agendas, thank goodness. They're not getting these shitty kids who can't act. A lot of these people, you really feel for them, especially Lily. Lily will make you want to fucking hug her by the end of this episode. Lily has a fucking miserable life, and the actress has this face where she just looking at her, she kind of already looks sad, and I don't mean that as like an insult to the actress. I'm saying she acts like somebody who has been beaten down by these little shits. And she wears this kind of depression that the actress conveys without even having to say a fucking line. And that is talented for kids. All of these kids are really good. So when things happen, I feel glad because I'm actually going to give a fuck about these poor kids that are more than likely going to be eaten and mauled and fucking whatever else Pennywise does to them. But yeah, check it out. Welcome to Derry. Great news. They're dropping an episode this Friday for Halloween, but they're also dropping another one on its normal day on Sunday. So there's going to essentially be 2 episodes released in the same week. I am super fucking jazzed up because shows haven't done this in a long time. So we're going to get a cool like Halloween episode, and then we're going to get like the regular, continuing the story. So go check out Welcome to Derry. I think that it is going to be my new favorite show of this year. I don't know its tall order. I just got done watching The Terminal List, Dark Wolf. I'm almost done with it, and that's pretty good. So I'll let you guys know. But it's going to be television shows have been bringing their A game. And we got the final season of Stranger Things, the final season of The Boys. like there's a lot of shit. Like television is so much more competitive than movies. Like my top 10 worst movies list is going to be harder to do than my top 10 best movies because the movies this year have been ass. But shows, fucking, I can't pick, man. This is going to be the hardest list I've put together. My top 10 shows for the year is going to just be a nightmare to put together for y'all. But that's it. Thank you for watching. I got everything listed in the description below if you want to see a particular review. But I did the Black Phone, and I did Shelby Oaks. I did Good Boy and It Welcome to Derry in that order. So if you want to pick and choose which review you want to see, only one of my reviews has a spoiler, and that would be for not Shelby Oaks, Good Boy, just because I had to in order to tell you my feelings, and I gave a warning when I gave that spoiler away. Other than that, these are non-spoilers and suggestions for you to go out and watch these different things. And no, I haven't been just lounging back. I have been checking out movies, but if you guys don't know, then this is my opportunity to tell you I have been writing a book. I was recently signed, and I've got like 2 or 3 more months to get this done. So I've been focusing all of my effort on that. And I'm super excited about having the opportunity to write. If you guys don't know, I've been doing writing for many years, and I have had a lot of different ideas, but I've never really had a motivation to do it because writing is a hard field to get into. And I was like, I don't know if I can be like Stephen King or one of those guys. But then I was like, you know what? I'm me. I don't need to be Stephen King. I just need to bring my own original idea. So I'm working currently on a story that is going to be part of a series of books. And the first story in that book is going to be called Contagion, and the name of the book series is called Harbingers. It is going to be a Lovecraftian horror connected universe kind of a book. I'm going to have several books that'll be different stories with characters from each book sort of intersecting in each other's stories to create this big world with using some of H.P. Lovecraft inspirations such as Cthulhu and the Man in Yellow, Yawgoth, and different things in the Lovecraftian mythology. Also using other things that have inspired me. This first book I'm making, my inspirations were The Thing, The Blob, Alien type of things. So that's a hint towards where my first book is going. And it's going to be a horror story that's going to be told from the perspective of the virus infecting people. So hopefully I will have, by the end of this year, I would like to have the rough draft done and completed and getting into making my final draft, which will then push it out, and I'll let you guys know. This company will get me into like Amazon and Kindle and things like that, and I will post for you guys, and kind of as my audience, I will do here on my channel a reading of my prologue and maybe the first chapter, just to give you guys kind of a feel of what my story is going to be like. And then I'll let you guys know where you can get it when I'm done and I'm finished with it. And that's why I brought up the thing with Shelby Oaks and critiquing. I value and respect people's opinions. And I've gone back and forth with people in my comments section about certain videos and why I rated things a certain way. And I think it's important for all of us as people who create or people who critique that we take opinions and we take criticisms in order to make ourselves better as artists or as a commentator. And if you are not doing those things, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And it's what bothered me about that video Chris Stuckmann made, because I think that you should be able to tell people who are making bad products so that they can make a better product. Because at the end of the day, I love entertainment. I love movies. I love books and stories and games and expanding my mind into different things. And I think it's important for creative voices who do a good job to get that acknowledgement. It's also important for people who fuck up to know what they messed up on so they can do better. It makes them better as an artist. Now, there's a difference between telling somebody you're going to murder them and their family because of something they've created versus giving constructive criticism on the flaws that they need to fix to advance their craft to the level they want to be at. And if we are not doing that, then what the fuck is the point of it? That's always been my opinion on this channel and why I do reviews the way I do them. And if people value my opinion, great. If they don't, it's my opinion. But I think if I'm giving my opinion and I'm giving my recommendation, then I need to give an honest and open recommendation and be true to how I feel about something, rather than just because I like someone or I think that personally or outside of what they do, they're a great person. That isn't their art. And here is why people shouldn't be attacked unless they do something stupid personally in their life. But I'm talking about, like, they shouldn't be attacked for their art, but they should be critiqued and informed and made aware of things that they can make better. If they don't, we just have a bunch of shitty, mediocre people, which we've dealt with in the past couple of years, making crap that nobody wants to see. That's why I do what I do. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. This has been my massive horror movie specials that I've seen and all the movies that I want to kind of put on your guys' radar. I'm going to be doing maybe one more video tomorrow with Mr. Pop Culture PB. You guys will see that. We are going to check out Terrifier 3 to get us into the Christmas / Halloween spirit, because the movie is Christmas, but you know, it's Halloween adjacent. It's art. So we're gonna watch Terrifier 3 here on the channel. As always, this watch along, we cannot fucking show it on YouTube. Even if we could show it, that movie we probably couldn't show on YouTube because Terrifier is a fucking ridiculously violent movie. So I wouldn't even be able to show it, even if I could, but I'm not going to be able to show it. So it is available on Amazon. You can follow along with us as we do a watch along for art and is, yeah, PBC. This is the thing that I love about my co-host. He even forgets that he's doing a street trial. Yes, we are. So, yeah, definitely check that out. It'll be funny. You'll get to see the wit and humor of me and Mr. Pop Culture PB, who is always funny with these things. And he hasn't seen Terrifier 3, so this will be a first time watch. And I just can't wait to get his opinion of it, because honestly, hot take, I'm going to say Terrifier 3 is the best of the franchise right now. There's a Terrifier 4, could blow this one out of the water, but I loved 3. So hopefully we'll be in agreement, or maybe we won't. We will see. Oh no, I said it was tomorrow. I remember because the 2 new episodes of Dispatch come out for the old PS5, and I gotta play them tomorrow before we get on and do our stream, which I believe was 2. I want to say it was 2. Let me check. Oh my goodness. Forgetful Bear. Let's see. Oh shit! I put tomorrow, but I forgot. I was looking at my time like midnight. I'm at Wednesday. See, I phrased it like tomorrow, like I thought it was Tuesday that I was talking about, but it was really Wednesday I meant. Oh yeah, I did say Wednesday initially. Oh yeah, there it is in the message. Okay, cool. So I wasn't crazy. Well, let me go back. I did say Wednesday. Oh yeah, I did say that. See, I'm not nuts. I mean, I am nuts, but I wasn't nuts about how I phrased it. So yes, I believe it will be tomorrow at 2 because Terrifier 3 is like a 2.5 hour movie. So anyways, thank you everybody for watching. I enjoyed having you all here. Don't forget to watch tomorrow at 2. We will be doing a watch along for Terrifier 3. So anyways, thank you all for watching. I will see you again. And as always, remember, there is only one rule here in the Fandom Zone. Oh, hold on a second. What is this? A surprise visit from the bear?
Just in time. Weren't you saying goodbye to everybody?
Oh, yeah, I was saying goodbye to everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, so you'll see this man tomorrow at 2 for Terrifier 3. So bring your barf buckets, and remember, it's going to be on Amazon. We will not be showing it, so don't come in here and go, oh, how come I can't see Terrifier 3? Because YouTube's an asshole. Complain to YouTube about them. They don't want us to show anything, and especially you can't even show clips of Terrifier for a movie review. You have to blur them out. So it's a super big no-no. But if you want to follow along with us, get yourself an Amazon. They got all the Terrifiers for the holiday season, so you can see 1, 2, 3 right in a row. Be a little sick fuck like we're going to. PB, you looking forward to Terrifier 3 tomorrow?
Oh, I'm very much looking forward to getting into the Halloween spirit with death and destruction.
And our favorite mascot of holiday cheer, Art the Clown.
He is the best.
He is the best. Anyways, thank you everybody for watching. And as always, remember there is only one rule here in the Fandom Zone.
Dog actors are better than humans.
100%.